Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to thank the Chamber for putting us on the list so we can do a presentation on Panguna by Bougainville Copper Limited. Bougainville Copper right now is a poor cousin, but in its heydays, it was a very transformative investment at that time and very significant, almost equivalent to what ExxonMobil did for the PNG LNG gas. That was in the early 70s. So I won't have any wiggly lines or funny looking rocks or beautiful pictures, but I'll just go through a little bit of history and how we think we're going to bring this project into life again. So it is still a ASX-listed company since around about 1972. In 2012, the Bougainville government wanted to re-engage with BCL, and we've been working with the government ever since. But when the Bougainville Mining Act came into being, the SML, Special Mining Lease, that BCL had was converted into an exploration license, which was named ELO1. Immediately after that, we applied for a renewal license, and that application was refused, and I'll come to that a bit later. But in around about 2016, Rio Tinto, who then owned 53% of the mine, gifted its shares to both the government of Bougainville and the government of Papua New Guinea. Both were given 36.4%, 4.5% each. The PNG government in December 2019 committed publicly that it will transfer its shares to the ABG. That is still in the process. When that is finalized, Bougainville government and the people of Bougainville will have more than 72.4%, 0.8%. So that is going to be a big deal, and that's when we need to work with the community and with the government to figure out how we can move forward. That I mentioned about refusal of license. That was refused, and BCL felt that the refusal was not done according to the provisions of the Mining Act and took the matter to court for judicial review. The court put a stay on, and that stay continues today. But more recently, we've been able to do negotiations with the ABG. We worked on it for about 2 years, quietly, working urgently, and just in October, the MOU and the deed of settlement was signed between the two parties. The landowners, we go by block landowner. That's a title that is in the Land Titles Commission Act, which even today mining companies are using. The reference to landowners has been given block holders. Also, to be proactive, the Panguna landowners decided to create a company in preparation for when the exploration license is given and to move ahead so that the landowners can benefit from the exploration activities. So Panguna Development Corporation was created by the landowners themselves. They have since then formed a joint venture with KNW, a landowner company from Morobe. And they have registered this company, and it's IPA compliant with that. So hopefully, as we move forward, our landowners can benefit from the development of the mine. One of the things that obviously governments want to do is to find out what sort of benefits they would have. So in this slide, we're just assuming direct benefits, and this is mainly direct benefits that will go. Assuming that the project will production will be at 60 million tons per annum, with gold price $1,400 US dollars per ounce, and about $6,000 US dollars per ton of copper. We preliminary estimate is that the government of Bougainville will get through tax revenue 1.2 billion kina a year. And that's a significant amount of money. Royalties, Bougainville Mining Act is very prescriptive about the distribution of royalties. But in total, it's about 5%. And the landowners then per annum would be entitled to get about 340 million kina. That's without consideration of group tax, consideration of GST. So those are the sort of benefits that will accrue as we develop the project. This slide just shows order of magnitude of the various projects we have. You can see from our own Frida, Wafi-Golpu, Panguna, and Oktedi. And Panguna sits quite nicely at 9.3 million tons of copper equivalent. And apart from OTML, Panguna is a brownfield project, so there would be little stripping. It's a known ore body. It will need to upgrade the infrastructure. The processing technology is off the shelf, which makes it easier. Logistically, Panguna is close to the coast for transportation of concentrates. So there is significant benefits for Panguna. These are the 2022 estimates of resource and reserves. We've got indicated and inferred a total million tons of copper at 1.8 million tons of copper at 0.3% copper and 0.34 grams per ton gold. That's quite significant. In total, you'll see total copper tonnage of 5.3 million tons, and there's still 19.3 ounces of gold in the ground. So if we can, the previous slide, slide 6 shows the 9.3, which is a copper equivalent. In here, it's separated from copper itself at 5.3 million tons and 19.3 million ounces of gold. Still, a significant resource remains to be developed. This is some of the drilling pictures that we have. It just shows basically that drilling stopped at mineralization. It's still open at depth. The size of the pit, of course, is limited by the type of drilling that takes place. So there is still more copper open at depth, basically. Albeit probably at low grade. lower grade. And this just shows that potential is there. One of the things I do want to mention is that next to it, there's opportunity for develop more exploration, which at the moment are under a mining reserve, and specifically kept for Panguna to develop in future. We do have some cowboys from certain Australian states stomping the ground, but I think one of them was arrested recently, and hopefully he won't come back. Why ABG and why BCL? ABG now continues to call BCL as a local entity. It is a brownfield project. As I mentioned earlier, there won't be much stripping. We also have significant intellectual property. If you have to redo the baseline study, it's going to take time and it's also going to be costly. We've got that in terabytes. We are considered a local entity, and we do have a strong support base with the landowners. And as we in the mining industry know, you've got to know your landowners. And the industry in PNG, like everywhere else, is probably not for faint-hearted. It's people that strive to try and make projects produce and obviously create employment and technology and training for local people. We do expect to get the mining exploration license very soon, probably Q1, and then we will then work going out to get a reputable partner to come work with us to develop what's already there. And I think that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.